Good morning, traders. Manny Cabrera from MDC Trading Academy with our pre-market forecast for today, Wednesday, April 17th. Our news items for today. This is a very short week. Remember that markets are closed on Friday. Markets can expect to run a little slower. Today, news-wise, we have nothing on the docket before our news or during our news. This is just 12:45. A member of the FOMC speaking doesn't really affect us in any way. Let's quickly go to our analysis chart here. We start with our daily chart. Market continues to trend to the upside. Again, we spoke about slow turning movement with a little bit of lateral movement on certain days. Market oscillating between quickly established highs and intraday lows. Market stays within the area. Of course, volume has been a bit low. We've been averaging about 130,000. Our ATR is healthy, but market's been very slow and very erratic at times. You have to be very careful. We spoke about this. We've been talking about this for months and months and months, weeks and weeks and weeks. What we are expecting, obviously, is reach all-time highs, but it's going to do it in a very slow and deliberate way. Market can still have a significant retracement. Remember, we have a few areas where the market can retrace to, including the 20 SMA on the daily, but ultimately, the market just it continues to do what it does. It makes its run, establish a high, a resistance high, turns for a little bit sideways, bounces back, retraces, goes back, retests, breaks through. Here we go. We establish an intraday high, resistance high. Market moves sideways. Eventually, it pulls back a little bit, then it goes forward. That's what we've been doing recently. Remember, market can be a little slow the rest of the week simply because of the market holiday. Let's go to our projection chart. Again, every one of these lines and circles represents areas where we're anticipating market to come and have some sort of reaction. And you can just clearly appreciate how the market does indeed come to these areas, and it does have sometimes slow reactions, sometimes churning reactions. But the clue is that we are anticipating potential market movements, and that gives us confidence that as market is moving and progressing, that we're anticipating the moves. We go to our analysis chart, closer to our trading chart. As we can see, price finds itself between the intraday high and intraday low. The intraday high was established early in the morning. We had our intraday high established at about 6 minutes after the bell, and we had our intraday low established here late in the afternoon, about 3:30. You see how the market then churns from there, starts to regain strength, starts to head in the direction towards this high here. So today, what we're expecting potentially a retest of this area here. And once it does here, is it going to just reestablish and retest this intraday highs and then come back off and come right back down here? Or is it going to just quickly say, you know what, today's the day. Today's the day. We're just going to very cleanly through, and we're going to start establishing a new high immediately. It all depends on volume, and if we look at volume today, volume doesn't seem any better today than yesterday. It's probably just about the same. We might end up with a little bit more volume. Simply what I'm doing is a very simple and graphical method to see what volume is going to look like. It's just to measure the pre-market. Now remember, it's still early, so we still have quite a bit of pre-market left. But so far we're a little short, but I think we end up right about the same. So you can expect typically the same kind of movement, same kind of activity throughout the day. So what are we looking for as reference to trading? Well, let's look at our trade chart here. And what we have on our trade chart here is what we call a north-south line, right here. This trend line that we have here, that's based on our projected price action. We have here the area where we expect the market to hold. We have this is what we call an ascending triangle. Market can potentially retrace down to this area and still continue to the upside. So that's kind of like what we're looking for. A breakthrough here represents a little bit more move to the downside. It's been doing that recently. If the market decides to test this here, this is going to be the first resistance test. And we're going to see how the market either comes off this area, if it doesn't break through, or see what happens if it breaks through to see if it actually holds support and then continues. Otherwise, it's just going to establish an intraday high in order to move lower. So that's the kind of market we've been in recently. There's really no, even though we have a very clear direction in which the market wants to move in a general direction, and you can see in our daily chart, which is to the upside. This is, but it's not a very pretty market. This is very similar to what we've had in the past within these areas. Markets have bars are very narrow. Our volume is very low. So it creates what I call interesting markets. But you have to be very careful in these markets. You can't be falling in love quickly with one side or the other. You have to allow the market to speak to you and start making the choices based on what you see. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. Any questions, you can reach us at info@mdctradingacademy.com. Remember, we will not have any other pre-market forecast for the rest of the week, and we'll be gladly be serving you on Monday once again. Thank you, and have a great, great super weekend and a great Good Friday.